All right, this is probably something that a lot of people didn't know. Back on the 17th of this month, it marked the 25th anniversary of Mega Man X, which is a legendary action platform title which came out back in 1993. And in all honesty, Mega Man X is considered to be one of the most noticeable games in the entire Mega Man series. When it came out, there were many people who were just blown away by it. Many people who were impressed by the gameplay, the soundtrack, the visuals, the storyline. Just everything about it was just fantastic. And basically, it's a game that still holds up to this day. That many people still play, and many people actually still do play Mega Man X to this day, which is especially true for those who purchased the Mega Man X Legacy Collection. Mega Man X is was basically one of the top action platform titles on the SNES back in the early 90s. In fact, it was probably one of the top action platform titles of the 90s period. So basically, Mega Man X is definitely one of those games that at the time felt like it was ahead of its time, and basically was one of those games that pretty much, I don't know, it seems timeless in the sense where almost every other game that came out after it in the X series kind of felt like a step down. It seemed like Mega Man X was probably the best game in the X series. In fact, it was better than a lot of Mega Man games in the SNES, well, definitely in the NES series, because the game started back in the 80s, and it continued to go on all the way up to Mega Man 10, which I believe was lasted up until like 2010. But the thing is, Mega Man X is probably the most noticeable and the most popular game in the Mega Man series in general, and it's hard to believe that it's 25 years old, because for those who grew up, back in the early 90s on the SNES, it doesn't feel like it was too long ago. It kind of feels like it was more like 10 years ago opposed to 25 years ago. But it's crazy to believe that time just flies like that, and it's somewhat astounding to know that the game is still has a high replay value, and it's something that retro gamers and even modern gamers who never even grew up to Mega Man or never played it before would still play and would like to play to this day.